Hi students, this is Ram Mohan, JL Industry, Government Junior College, Kachigoda. As part of 14th chapter in our first year syllabus, today we are going to discuss early associations, okay, in India. In our national movements, already we discussed the growth of nationalism. In this, what are the causes helped a lot to the Indians to bring a unity, okay, to fight against the British government and British administration, of course. In later, establishment of early associations. So, when British rule was going on, when their exploitation was continued, there were many associations were founded by Indians. Before Britishers also, Europeans came, they also plundered. Okay, it was made by the Indians also, but not extent. But come to the Britishers, when they started the plundering, it was continuous. Okay, there was no full stop. After a number of times when our Indian intellectuals, Indian organization, associations alarmed here, requested here, and they agitated against here, even though there was no change, a small change also in British administration and their ruthless policies. That's what, with this effect, our great leaders started different agitations, okay, and they founded here different associations also. So when you talk about associations, Indian National Congress (INC) was the a great association organization. But before also, number of associations established by the Indian intellectuals. Once have a look. The pioneer of nationalism in Bengal was Raj Narayan Bose. So he was the pioneer of nationalism in Bengal area. The person name is Raj Narayan Bose. In 1886, he formed a society, and even his followers also started many societies, especially Nabagopal Mitra established here Hindu Mela in 1867. Okay, his follower, Raj Narayan Bose follower, Nabagopal Mitra established here Hindu Mela. The first Indian organization established in England was it was in London, that is Indian Society in 1865. In 1866, East Indian Association, London, which was founded by Dadabhai Nauroji, the grand old man of India. The National Indian Association in 1867 by Mary Carpenter. She was the biographer of the Raja Ram Mohan Rai. And Indian Society in 1872, Ananda Mohan Bose in London. Okay, next the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. They're all the early associations. Okay, you understand here? Before Indian National Congress also, in India, several organizations were established. Now, moving to the Indian National Congress, INC. In 1885, when Indian National Congress, was established here, it marked a new beginning in the history of Indian nationalism. Okay, Indian National Congress only started a new beginning in the history of Indian nationalism, because it was established by a Britisher, Allen Octavian Hume, A.O. Hume. So he stated a safety value for the escape of great and growing forces generated by our own action. Okay, it was urgently needed. Like that, it resembles their desire also by establishing National Congress, Indian National Congress. During the establishment of Indian National Congress, the Governor General was here, Lord Dufferin. The first meeting of Indian National Congress was held, in Bombay in December month only, last week of December month, under the presidency of the Mr. W.C. Banerjee. Umesh Chandra Banerjee was the first president of Indian National Congress. In this meeting, only 72 delegates only attended. In the beginning, the British also, the attitude, if you observe that towards the Congress was very sympathetic. So when Indian National Congress established here, initial stage, the Britishers also encouraged here, and their attitude also towards the Congress were very sympathetic. So even they attended also several Congress sessions. We have studied Indian National Congress origin. Now moving to the aims and objectives of the Indian National Congress. The first one, to seek the cooperation of all Indians in its effort. First one, to seek the cooperation of all Indians. Second one, eradication of racial discrimination, because India is the homeland of many races. So there was a practice of racial discrimination. That's what, to eradicate this kind of social evils from the society. Also, the Congress, okay, one of the objectives implemented, okay, in their aims. Third one, to discuss and decide on various social problems of the country. Okay, besides the freedom here, to discussing and deciding what are the social problems, okay, in the society. And great, of course, National Congress was a great association. Before that, only we have few associations, but there was no great movement, okay, agitated or started by their association. But first time, Indian National Congress, okay, it became a great association because of their administration also, you can notice here. And first time, national consciousness among the Indians also was brought by the INC only. And they declared here Purna Swaraj in several meetings, in several times also. The Indian National Congress decides here Purna Swaraj means complete freedom. Okay, they wanted complete freedom. So like that also, number of times they passed here resolutions during their annual meetings. And you see, in national movement also, we have observed here the stages. By establishment of Indian National Congress, the first phase or first stage was started in national movement. That is the moderates era or the moderate stage. The moderates era begins with the establishment of Indian National Congress in 1885, from 85 to 1905. So during these 20 years, moderates played a vital role. And second one, extremist phase began in 1905, ended 1919. Extremists, okay, completely opposite of moderates, extremists started their movement in their path that is completely different, and especially they started Vande Mataram movement also, which was a great boost to extremists, played a great role during the national movement. And the last and a great movement, the great phase, that is Gandhian phase, 1919 to 1947. Students, here you have to notice here, there are three important phases in national movement. One is moderates, extremist, Gandhian. You remember the names and even years also. There are three phases or three stages: moderates, extremists, and Gandhian. Now, I am beginning, okay, the moderates era started by the great leaders like Dadabhai Nauroji, Firoz Shah Mehta, Gopalakrishna Gokhale, Badruddin Tyabji, like Firoz Shah Mehta. There are several people, okay, who are called here moderates. The moderates had complete faith in the British sense of the, okay, their justice, their administration, and their fair play. Okay, they are completely benevolent to the British administration, British policies, and British development. They did not, okay, start any agitation in a violent way or an aggressive way. always showing their sympathy, always showing here their courtesy towards the British government here. And even though, like Dadabhai Nauroji, the grand old man of India, who wrote a book, Poverty Unruled India, in this book, he stated that how our Indian resources, our Indian wealth is drained to England. So there are some statements, some books, some newspapers and journals also printed by the moderates, but it was not given or not given any boost spirit to the national movement. Only they always try to request the Britishers, okay, to establish their demands. Okay, always they practice here three P's only: pray, prize, and petition. Okay, they follow three P's. One P stands for here pray. Second P stands praise. Third one only petition. Okay, so that's what there was no great protest by the moderates. So you understand here, the moderates people, the moderates leaders are complete benevolent to the British government. They always show their faith, confidence toward the British development. Okay, and now moving to the moderates and their principles. Okay, when they started Indian National Congress here, when they try to attend the annual meetings of Indian National Congress, in these meetings, they established here representative bodies. And they always asked the Britishers abolition of Indian Council. And they requested here give safety of individuals' liberty and entry of Indians in the highest services also recommended by INC to the Britishers, and reduction of civil and military expenditure, because the Britishers always try to expand the military force. They recruited many Indians in their army, so it leads to great economic exploitation and lot of expenditure, lot of burden on Indian economy. That's what they requested here. They gave a petition to the Britishers number of times by reduction of civil and military expenditure. And one more thing, they requested here separation of executive and judiciary. Okay, this was practiced by during the Cornwallis time. Okay, when he introduced here some reforms, and afterwards it was prohibited, it was stopped. Now the INC requesting separation of executive department from judiciary, because they try to interfere in the matters of judiciary. The governor generals, the English officials also, always interfering and interrupting the matters, the functions of the judiciary. And now moving to the next one, to increase job opportunity to Indians and put an end to the racial discrimination. So in all sectors, in all spheres of life, actually this racial discrimination was prevented, so that increase job opportunities one side, other side they requested here, put an end, that means abolish the racial discrimination. Now moving to next request or next principle of the moderates, to stop the economic drain to England. So which was first time exhibited by the Dadabhai Nauroji. So now they requested here British government to stop the economic drain. That means the raw materials, the resources always drain to the England. So completely our resources exploited, our industries were completely damaged here, our handicrafts destroyed here, so that the moderates here requested the British government, for these demands. Now to take up relief measures during famines and provide loans also. So during natural calamities, any health calamity, during that season, the British government did not bother about the Indians' grievances. They did not take care about that. They did not take any measures, to help the poor people, and especially loans also should provide to the poor people. These are the requested brought to the notice of the Britishers by their petition. Next one, to implement policy of national education. So already we should understand here, Western education already implemented, English language already implemented in all stages of education. So even though they repeatedly requested here, Britishers, the moderates, national education. That means Hindi was treated as a national language. So in Hindi language and other vernacular languages completely vanished. Okay, they are completely in a way of vanishing, so that the moderates again requesting the British government to implement the policy of national educations. So these are the policies of the moderates during the 1885 to 1905. So far we have studied the first stage of moderates in national movement. Now, because of their request, you see, the moderates are called here political medicancy. The moderates era or moderates principles are called here political mendicancy. Even though when Indian Council Act 1892 was passed here, this act enlarged the supreme and provincial councils and empowered the member to discuss the budget and ask questions. By repeatedly their request, finally one resolution, one act was passed. This act first time enlarged the provincial councils and empowered the members to discuss the budget and ask questions. This was the first right or first success, got by the moderates. And moderates, finally they got one, but unfortunately moderates failed to achieve great success. Only a few of their demands were fulfilled by the British government. But they succeeded in creating awareness among the people regarding the ideas of democracy and civil liberty. So finally, we can say the seed time of Indian nationalism. Moderates era called here seed time of Indian nationalism. It was not grown only it was in a initial stage of national movement. That's what we can say. The moderates era is called or considered here seed time of Indian nationalism. Now moving to the extremist phase, 1905 to 1919. So 1905, which was the year, remarkable year, during the extremist movement, because with this year only the extremists played an important role. They became the freedom fighters. They became the forerunners in the national movement, and even they overthrown the moderates era also by establishing their policies completely against the British government. They believe in fights. What moderates believe here? Only pray, prize, petition. But extremists believed in fight for India's independence. And not only that, they led mass protests, criticizing government in all ways, in all policies, and boycotting foreign goods and use of Swadeshi goods. Boycotting foreign means the material, the goods which were made by foreign countries. Definitely we have to boycott, and we promote only the domestic goods, indigenous goods, that is Swadeshi goods. And here only the extremists believed here independence was their birthright. The extremists believed here independence was their birthright. Especially Balagangadhar Tilak, he gave a slogan, a great statement, that is, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. What Tilak's statement here? Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. Not only that, Purna Swaraj or complete independence, their dream, their fulfillment. So these are the extremist demands. When they began the movements and agitation against the Britishers. During the extremist phase, you observed you find out the important people Lala Lajpat Rai, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, and Bipin Chandrapal, the three important extremist people here. Okay, the three important Lal, Bal, Pal. The trinity is called here Lal, Bal, Pal. So these three people played, okay, of course, great role during the extremist season or phase. Not only that, many people like Aravind Ghosh, okay, uh, many people also they gave cooperation to the extremists. They played, okay, very great role in all sorts of agitation. Now observe the extremist phase from 1905 to, okay, 1919. In this, first you observed 1905 to 1914. Here, uh, the extremists, especially Lal Bal Pal, they established here number of papers in not only vernacular languages, regional languages, but also they founded newspapers in English language. Kesari, New India, Indian Mirror, Commonwealth, these are the papers brought the notice of the people about the great exploitation of the Britishers. So when these people started here Vande Mataram movement in 1905, when they started the Home Rule movement in 1916, Tilak imprisoned and deported into the Mandalay in Burma for 6 years. Lala Lajpat Rai was also deported to Burma for 6 months. Okay, so all leaders were here completely deported and they expelled from the what you call the centers, the capitals places. Okay, they expelled from the state and provinces also. Even though the common people never stopped here these great movements. When Lord Curzon partitioned here Bengal, okay, in 1905, boycott movement, Swadeshi movement, and demonstrations, public meetings, and their resolutions were continued. Even people burned foreign clothes also. Many textile mills and soap and match factories also were completely closed because they were run by Britishers. National banks and insurance companies were also first time started by extremist people, and they picketed the shops of the foreign goods and foreign owners. And here only you can observe Swadeshi and boycott. Those programs went hand in hand. Now, the first movement started by the extremist people, that is Vande Mataram movement. Vande Mataram movement was, we can call, anti-Bengal partition movement. This movement was started in Bengal area and expanded all corners of India. So this movement, why Vande Mataram movement was started? See, Lord Curzon, the Governor General of India, in 1905, he decided to divide the entire Bengal into two provinces. One is West Bengal, other one is East Bengal, because the population was very huge. So for the convenience of administration, the smooth way of functioning of their governance, they wanted to divide the Bengal into two parts. Okay, Muslim populated East Bengal and Hindu populated West Bengal. It was designed and demarcated, and this announcement was done on 4th July in 1905, but it was implemented 16th October 1905. Okay, announced on July 4, implemented on 16th October. So then people in Calcutta, first time, they started the agitation against the Curzon's decision. Here clearly indicates that divide and rule policy. Means there was a great unity between the Hindus and Muslims in Bengal. All movements, all organizations and associations, if you observe, established in Bengal area to suppress the Bengal state, to suppress the Bengal national spirit here, the Englishers planned here, okay, to divide the Bengal region into two provinces. That's what they wantedly, forcefully implemented the divide and rule policy in first time in Bengal. But when the announcement, okay, when announcement was started begin here, immediately the people of Calcutta in all corners, in all places, they tied Rockies each other. The Hindus also tied Rockies to Muslims. Muslims also tied Rockies to the Hindus. That means the unbreakable unity. Okay, they wanted to exhibit the unbreakable unity between these two communities, especially like Surendranath Banerjee, Ananda Mohan Bose, these two important people. Initially, they started Vande Mataram movement in a great level. But later, it was led by extremists. When Tilak entered, when Lal Bal Trinity entered into the Vande Mataram movement, it reached all places, all corners, all nook and corners of India. So, when 16th October 1905 declaration was announced here, the people in Bengal started a day of fasting, a day of mourning. Okay, the 16th October year, a day of mourning, a day of fasting, and they took holy dip in Ganga River, half naked. They maintained several rallies, processions also. Okay, so anyhow, finally, in Calcutta, when they started the agitation, it was only for the problem of the Bengal, but the movement enlarged and expanded into several parts of India because the problem of Bengal also reached here, the problem of India. Means once they practiced here the division of, okay, the divide and rule policy, and next they implemented in several states also, several provinces. That's what the Indians thought, that immediately to check the policy, the divide and rule policy, the exploitation policy, the discrimination policies of the British government, the people united here, okay, irrespective of their caste, religion, and started great agitation in India first time, that is Vande Mataram movement. So, if you observe, after Sipai mutiny in 1857, it was a silence period, 1885 to 1905, completely silent. There was no great fight. Of course, some agitations, some revolts occurred, okay, in several parts, but it was limited to only that particular region, particular area. But first time, a national-wide movement was started by the extremist people after moderates in Bengal, that is Vande Mataram movement. If you look at the map of Bengal, the first map shows here how Bengal in 1904, when Karjan, okay, took the decision to divide the Bengal into two regions or two, okay, provinces, east one, west one. So there are two, the east and west. So where Muslim population was high, that is East Bengal, where Hindu people were, the population was high, that is West Bengal. So in 1904, this is the map of Bengal. You see the second map you observed, then the demarcation between the East and West Bengal. The demarcation, if you see, West Bengal and East Bengal. So here they demarcated the line between the East and West. They made the people, the Hindu people, to go and settle in West Bengal, and they made the Muslim people to go and make shelter in East Bengal. Like that divide and rule policy, okay, the partition of Bengal was taken place in 1905. But the people, Hindus, Muslims, or other religions also joined hands with the Calcutta people and started agitation. So 1905 to 1911 continuously reached all corners, all provinces, okay, all areas. Even if you observed in our, okay, Telugu states also, many people, many students also boycotted their colleges, their education centers, schools, okay, and promoted only Swadeshi goods. Okay, that was the Vande Mataram movement, first time national movement, given a great success in 1911. Because of this, immediately Lord Curzon, when he took the decision, it was taken back by Lord Hardinge in 1911. Okay, in our next class, why our Indians started, okay, Vande Mataram as a slogan, why this movement was, okay, practiced and expanded in several parts of India. Thank you.